He had been briefed about the alien station before stepping off the shuttle. But nothing had prepared him for the surreal reality he was about to witness. Commander Ryan Hale, a human diplomat and explorer, had been chosen to make first contact with the Illyrians, a matriarchal species known across the outer systems for their intelligence, beauty, and strict customs. However, intelligence reports had hinted at a rare anomaly. The Illyrians of this particular station had never seen a human. Not in holograms, not in recordings, never. And now, he was walking straight into the unknown. The doors to the chamber slid open with a soft hiss. Ryan felt the low hum of the room's gravity adjusters, an almost imperceptible vibration under his boots. Beyond the doorway stretched a vast hall, bathed in iridescent light that shimmered like liquid crystal across the walls. The floor seemed to glow faintly, guiding him toward the center. And there they were, dozens of Illyrian women, standing in a semicircle. Watching him, their eyes were larger than human eyes, luminous with golden flecks that seemed to capture and refract light. Their skin had a pearlescent glow, smooth and flawless. And their forms moved with a grace that made even the simplest gesture appear like an intricate dance. Ryan felt a shiver run down his spine, not from fear, but from the overwhelming strangeness of the moment. He was the anomaly here. "Greetings," he said, raising his hands slowly in a gesture of peace, as he had been trained. His voice sounded foreign, even to himself in the vast hall. The Illyrians exchanged quiet murmurs in their language, a melodic, almost musical tongue, each syllable floating and falling like notes in an unfamiliar song. One of them stepped forward, her stance regal, and her gaze fixed on him with both curiosity and caution. She was taller than most of the others, with hair that shimmered like spun silver. Her voice, when she spoke in a tongue that their translation devices could render into common, was calm but commanding. "You are different," she said. "You are like nothing we have ever seen." Ryan nodded. "I am a human. My name is Ryan Hale. I come in peace." The Illyrians tilted their heads, their expressions unreadable. Ryan could sense their intelligence, a collective awareness that seemed to pass silently among them, as if they were communicating without words. For a moment, he felt like an insect under a microscope. One of the younger Illyrians stepped forward, her eyes wide with a mixture of awe and trepidation. She reached out a slender hand, her fingers delicate and translucent. Ryan instinctively held his hands up to show he meant no harm. "Do you eat?" She asked a question that made Ryan blink in surprise. Her tone wasn't accusatory. It was genuine curiosity. Ryan chuckled softly. "Yes, we eat. But I assure you I am not dangerous." Her gaze lingered on him. And then a ripple of quiet laughter passed through the group, a sound like wind chimes, stirred by a gentle breeze. It was not mocking, but a mixture of wonder and excitement. Ryan took a cautious step forward. Noting the lack of fear in their stance, if anything, they seemed fascinated. He realized with a pang of humility that for them, he was the story. He was the anomaly they had never imagined, living proof that the universe held beings they could never have predicted. The tall Illyrian woman spoke again. "We have observed many species through the stars, but none like you. Your form, it is both fragile and resilient. How do you survive?" Ryan smiled, choosing his words carefully. "Survival comes from adaptability, intelligence, and cooperation. We rely on each other and on learning from our surroundings." Her eyes narrowed slightly, a thoughtful expression passing over her features. "Adaptability, intelligence, cooperation. These are traits we admire, perhaps. You are worthy of our knowledge." At that, the hall seemed to shift. Light patterns on the floor changed, forming paths that led deeper into the chamber. Ryan followed, realizing that he was being invited, perhaps even tested. The Illyrians moved gracefully around him, maintaining a careful distance, but never losing sight of him. As he reached the center of the hall, the largest projection screen in the room activated. Images of distant worlds, star maps, and intricate diagrams filled the space around him. Ryan recognized the Illyrians' advanced understanding of physics, energy manipulation, and bioengineering. It was far beyond anything humanity had achieved, yet they regarded him with cautious interest rather than disdain. "Why do you wish to meet us?" the tall woman asked. Her voice carried an underlying note of challenge. Ryan paused, choosing his words with care. "Because the universe is bigger than any one species. Understanding, communication, and cooperation between civilizations. That is the key to survival for all of us." The hall fell silent. Ryan could feel the weight of their collective judgment, as if the room itself were evaluating him. Slowly, the tall Illyrian nodded, a small but significant gesture. "You speak of unity, of learning. We have observed humans from afar, but never directly. You intrigue us." Ryan felt a spark of hope. This was more than just first contact. It was a chance to bridge to species, to show that humans could be more than curiosity. They could be partners. One of the Illyrians, a young woman with hair like liquid gold, approached him cautiously. She extended a hand, and Ryan took it. The touch was light, almost electric, and for a moment, he felt a strange connection, a shared awareness, as if their minds brushed against each other briefly. "This is not dangerous?" Ryan asked. She shook her head. "No, but it is unusual. You feel differently from others." Ryan realized then that the room was not only observing him physically, but perhaps even mentally. Sensing the emotions he carried, the intent behind his actions, the Illyrians were not naive. They were cautious, sophisticated, and perceptive beyond anything he had encountered. The tall woman spoke again. "You will stay here for a time. We wish to study you, not to harm, but to understand. You will be our guest, human. In exchange, you will share your knowledge with us. Perhaps, in time, we will see if our worlds can coexist." Ryan nodded. "I accept. And I promise, I will do everything I can to earn your trust." The younger Illyrians smiled softly, their movements fluid and synchronized, as if the entire group were one living organism. Ryan felt a strange warmth, respect, curiosity, and cautious hope all intertwined. He realized that for the first time in his life, he was not just an observer of alien worlds. He was part of something bigger, a bridge, symbol of what humans could achieve when they faced the unknown with courage. Days turned into weeks. Ryan learned quickly to adapt to the Illyrians' customs. He studied their language in greater depth, practiced their rituals of respect, and shared human knowledge in ways that fascinated them. They taught him advanced concepts of energy manipulation, interstellar navigation, and medical techniques that made human technology seem primitive. Yet through it all, they never treated him as inferior. He was a teacher and a student, a curiosity and a partner. The initial astonishment of seeing a human faded into something deeper, a bond forged through trust and mutual fascination. The Illyrians began to include him in discussions once reserved for their most esteemed minds. They debated strategies for resource management, methods of diplomatic negotiation, and the ethics of exploring new worlds. Ryan realized that in their eyes, humans were not weak or simplistic. They were adaptable, creative, and capable of immense growth. One evening, as Ryan stood on a balcony overlooking the vast expanse of stars, the tall Illyrian joined him. Her expression was unreadable, yet there was a softness in her gaze. "You have changed our perception of your species," she said quietly. "Before you, we believed humans were impulsive, fragile. Now we see potential, strength beyond the physical, wisdom beyond the predictable." Ryan smiled. "We survive because we must. We adapt because the universe demands it. But more than that, we connect. We find ways to understand each other, even across the greatest divides." She nodded, a faint smile touching her lips. "Perhaps. In the future, our worlds will meet not as strangers, but as allies." Ryan felt a surge of hope. That had been his mission all along, to show that humanity could stand among the stars, not as conquerors, but as partners, as equals. Weeks later, when it was finally time for him to leave the station, the hall of the Illyrian women gathered once more. Their eyes, once wide with astonishment, now held something akin to respect, curiosity tempered by understanding. Ryan realized that first contact had changed them as much as it had changed him. As he stepped onto the shuttle, he glanced back at the luminous figures, their forms glowing softly in the ambient light. He felt a deep connection, one that transcended species, culture, and experience. He had walked into a room of beings who had never seen a human, and he had left, leaving an impression that would echo through their history for generations. In the vast emptiness of space, humanity had taken its first true step among the stars, not with weapons or dominance, but with courage, curiosity, and the willingness to be seen for who they truly were. And in that, he knew, lay the greatest strength of all.